a headline caught my eye a few weeks ago. It simply said, "The world needs American Catholicism." And the article was really from an interview with Harvard professor Arthur Brooks. He's been mentioned from this AMBO a couple times over the last couple years, but Brooks, most well known for he teaches a popular class at Harvard Business School on happiness and fulfillment. And he says he begins every semester, the first day of class, telling his students that his Catholic faith is the single most important thing in his life. And then he says he just goes on to teach science. But he doesn't hide his faith. He's not weird about it. He's normal about it. His students ultimately say, yeah, like this is he's a normal guy. He loves his wife. He loves his kids, his grandkids, but he loves the Lord. And he says when students come to visit him during his office hours that he has, the number one question the students ask him, it's not about their upcoming paper. It's not about the term project. The number one question they ask him is, how do I fall in love, stay in love, and start a family? And the second question they ask is, how do I find my faith? See, people are hungry for what is real. Increasingly, right, people are exhausted by superficiality and what is fake, and exhausted by loneliness, exhausted by noise. And so they want to be fed with what is real and what is true and what is beautiful. But they need to be led to that spot, led to the spot of substantial food. And because of that, I think Brooks is right. Like, the world needs Catholicism. The question is, will you and I do our part in sharing it? Or in this age that we're in, will we fail? And if we fail, as Brooks puts it, if we fail, it will be because we don't have the guts for it, we don't have the stomach for it, and we don't have the heart for it. Today we celebrate the Ascension. We're getting close to the culmination of the Easter season, and we just heard Deacon Tim proclaim the conclusion of the Gospel of Matthew, where Jesus says, out of all authority, the power and authority that's been given to me of heaven and earth. So keep in mind, Jesus said a lot of things when he was, his 3 years of ministry. He said a lot of important things. I am the way, the truth, and the life. I am the bread of life. I am the resurrection. A lot of important things. Nowhere else does he preface the way he prefaces what he says here. All the power and authorities have been given to me. He says, go make disciples. Essentially, go to work. And so just two quick things this morning: who the church is, and then secondly, living beautifully. So first, who the church is. When I say church, you think what? I think for a lot of us, we think of Pope Leo. We maybe think of bishops. We think of priests. We might even think of this building here. But when I say church, we should think us. Certainly in line with the Pope and the bishops, but we should think us. And even especially your role as lay men and women out there in the world. It's a mindset, right? When the church writes, it talks about the church, it's us. But we tend to think the church is a place that we come to get something, and then we go back to the real world, our life, our jobs, and we live our lives. But that is not the way to look at it. The church is not a place meant to serve you, to fit your preferences. The church exists to form disciples and then send them out into the world to tell them about Christ. So let me ask you, do you tend to see yourself as a member of this parish? Or do you tend to see yourself more as a consumer? Do you tend to see the parish as a place that provides services for you? Or do you tend to see the parish as a community of disciples sent on mission to do something? And that mission to do something is really begins more simply than we think. Which brings me secondly here to living beautifully. The church over and over and over again, when she speaks about evangelization, she always teaches that the most powerful form of evangelization is simply this: living a beautiful Christian life. Another way to say that, holiness. You know, Brooks said that his students come to see him during his business hour or his office hours, and they ask him, like, how do I find my faith? Why? He's not teaching religion there at Harvard. He's not a religious professor. He's just teaching the heart in science and psychology. So why do they come and ask him about faith, about love? Because they see something in him that piques their curiosity. Every single person in this church can do that. Living more and more in conformity with Christ, becoming more and more holy or sanctified, closer to Christ, it becomes attractive. So just like simply, for me to ask and for you to think, do people at work even know you're Catholic? Do your neighbors know that your faith matters to you? Would anyone look at your life and become curious about God? For that to happen, your faith has got to be public. Not weird, not pushy. Like, there's nothing weird about a Harvard professor standing up in front of his class when he introduces himself to his kids and to his students in the first day of class to say, the most important thing in my life is my Catholic faith. That's not weird. I wonder how many of us can say even that statement, though, that would be comfortable to say that if it's true for you and for me. That my Catholic faith is the most important thing in my life. You know, someone newer to the parish just a few weeks ago came into my office and they asked me a question that really caught me off guard. They asked, Father Mark, what do you see as the most important thing that you need right now at the parish? What's the biggest thing that you need help with right now? And the question caught me off guard. I didn't know how to answer it right away. But then maybe like 30 seconds later, I'm like, this is it. The biggest need that we have right now is we need more men and women who are willing and capable of walking with other people now who come to walk them and show them the Christian life, how a Christian lives, how a Christian walks, how a Christian prays. And this can be done by ordinary people in their ordinary lives. Even more so for you can it be done than even for me, because I've got like the collar on, right? When I'm out in public. One of my professors I had, Scott Hahn, I had an opportunity to meet his wife, Kimberly, a couple of times to just spend time with them as a couple and as a family. They're just incredible. They are two people who are they're attractive. I found my own heart talking with them, wanting to talk with them. They're just beautiful people. They're normal, but they're beautiful. And they share how once or twice a week, they just have young adults and college students over to their home. To do what? Just to have a meal. They talk about life. They share struggles in their marriage. They share struggles in their family. They laugh. They drink. If the college students are above 21, they drink. But they have a good time and it's normal. Conversions take place that way. Lives are changed that way. Like hearts are enlivened to say, I want more. I want more what is real and true and beautiful. I want a life that actually looks real and beautiful and joyful. And I think, and we know this, I think this is going to be incredibly important and even more so needed in our years ahead. Because the contrast between what is real and beautiful and what is fake and empty is going to become easier and easier to see in one way, but it's going to be harder and harder to see, like for eyes that don't have to see it. But you're just going to want what is real and beautiful and kind of detest more and more what is fake and empty. Living beautifully points to Jesus. This is why, again, the church, when she talks about evangelization, Pope Paul VI in Evangelii Nuntiandi, which is to say evangelizing in the modern world, says, so again, today, evangelizing today, the church, who's the church? You are. The church will evangelize the world primarily by her conduct and by her life. In short, the witness of sanctity. Sanctity, meaning holy, set apart, different than the world. This is going to be more and more important in the years ahead. We have an incredible opportunity in the years ahead. In the wider church, and also in this particular church here at Notre Dame, people are hungry for what is real, what is beautiful. They're hungry for God. And today, with the ascension of the Lord, he says, go, accompany people, live beautifully, and point others to Christ. The question, I think, a large part will be for us at Notre Dame, will we be a group of people who primarily see ourselves as consumers and wanting to just have things be our preferences, and I come to receive, and if it doesn't fit my preferences a little bit, I'm going to shoot Father Mark an email. Are we going to see ourselves as consumers, or are we going to see ourselves as disciples sent on mission in our ordinary lives? Will we have the courage to live our faith publicly, to live beautifully, and point people to Jesus?